Welcome to the TDC Today Show communities. My name is Sue Roskopf. The Disability Channel, or TDC, is out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, showcasing abilities. TDC is committed to providing quality digital media production services, education and employment programs by and for persons with disabilities and veterans. TDC offers digital media production, video production, post-production, social media, and podcast creation, production, and support. TDC offers education and employment programming, which includes digital media courses to persons with disabilities who are unemployed and underemployed. TDC also offers community partnerships. Through partnerships and sponsorships, community partners and organizations become ability champions by supporting media created by and for people with disabilities and veterans. We are your USA team, and man, do I have a great lineup today. I am so excited to be able to introduce some wonderful friends to the show tonight. Missie Newman is with Coyote Bookkeeping, and she is one that I've just gotten a chance to get to know a bit recently, and I absolutely love what you are doing, Missie. If you want to come on in and tell everybody a bit about what you do, and if you want to share the story of how you got the name for your company, I would love that.
Okay, thank you for having me. I am Missie Newman. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I got the name for my company because my grandmother is Cherokee, and when my brother and I were young, she would tell us tribal stories. And I wanted a spirit animal for the name of my company, and I thought wolf. Well, no, that's too Wolf of Wall Street, and there's a zillion eagle bookkeeping. And then I remembered the stories my grandmother told. And coyotes, while they are cunning and clever, they're also very devoted and loyal to their tribe, to their pack. They can work alone or they can work as a group. And I really liked what they represented. And by the way, the Roadrunner would have never stood a chance.
I love that. Excellent. Well, tell us a bit more about what you do with your company.
So I am a bookkeeper, and I know most people think of bookkeepers as a little gray-haired lady with, 10 ledgers and the adding machine and, and I totally broke that mold. I drive a sports car. I volunteer at the animal shelter. I go to the drag races. I mean, I'm not you cannot fit me in the box of being a bookkeeper. But I started about a little over 20 years ago, bookkeeping when my husband and I we'd need a little extra cash. I could pick up a couple clients, I could fill in. And I knew I was going to be retiring last September because I worked for the federal government. So I said, hey, I want to go back into bookkeeping. And he said, go for it. And I discovered it's no more ledgers and spreadsheets. There's like these program things. And I had to learn how to use the various bookkeeping programs. But it wasn't too bad of a learning curve. It was just learning the program and not how to do the bookkeeping. And I took off from there.
Excellent. And with all the pieces that go into that, what is the part that you enjoy the most?
Giving people the peace of mind knowing that I can help them. And when I show them in their profit and loss and show them on their late invoices what they're missing out on and where they can make the most bang for the buck, what items they sell that gives them the best return on investment, the look on their face when they realize, oh, this makes so much sense. Why didn't I see it? And it's that old forest for the trees thing. Sometimes you're so busy doing your job, and then you throw on top 3 to 5 hours a week trying to be a bookkeeper too when you don't even understand the program. It's so much for people, for small businesses to grasp.
So, and if people want to get in touch with you, what is the best way to do that? Do you have a website?
I do. You can go to coyote-bookkeeping.com, and that's OOKKE .com. And
Excellent.
it tells all about what my job is, what I can do for you, how I can help you out. And there's a contact page at the bottom. You fill that out. It sends a message to my email and I can get in touch with you. There's also a calendar on there. You can just schedule a meeting on my calendar. I'll get an email. And if there's not a conflict, which usually you would see if there was a conflict, the only time there's ever a conflict is travel time, because that doesn't show up on the schedule. Then I just meet up with you.
Excellent. And actually, where are you located?
I am located just south of Houston, Texas, about halfway between Houston and Galveston. The joke around here is we are 15 minutes as the crow flies from the water and 2.5 hours by way of I-45.
Oh, wow.
It's always crowded.
Excellent. But you're able to help people though, kind of wherever they're located. Is there any limitations as far as you must be within the state of Texas or anything like that, or you can really help people most anywhere?
No, I can help people anywhere. Because this is all virtual. I do not take on outside of our country just because of the tax laws can be crazy.
I
And
can't
I don't want to
imagine.
get, yeah, I don't want to get me in trouble. I don't want to get them in trouble. So I try to stay within our 50 US. But other than that, I mean, I've had short-term clients from Tennessee and Florida and New Jersey. That one was weird. But the stand somebody's out for vacation or something, they just need somebody to work for a couple of weeks, and that's always fun because you learn about a lot of different businesses doing that.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, never a dull moment with all the pieces and bringing it all together.
Mm-mm.
I love it. Well, and just want to double check then any final thoughts you would like to share because I know we're running up on time here for you. So, any last words you want to share out there?
Nope. Just if you have questions or you think you need help, or if you don't even know if you need help, reach out to somebody. Somebody can help you. And if they don't give a free consultation, there's a ton of bookkeepers that do. And most of us are pretty decent people, nice people, and we want to help. That's first and foremost for all of us.
Excellent. Yeah, that is something I'm hearing clearly. The education piece, the help, and to be able to be that resource for people that you really enjoy, the difference you can make for people, and that's huge. I really admire that in what you do, and I can't thank you enough for taking your time to be with us today and to share all of these great pieces with us. So thank you so much, Missy.
Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Excellent. So again, Missie Newman with Coyote Bookkeeping. Thank you so much. And believe it or not, we have more folks in the wings ready to come on in and join the conversation. Next, joining us is Melissa Yaklyvich, who is also a new friend coming on in. I am so glad that you are joining us here as well. You want to give us an idea of what you all do and a little bit of your background. Thank you for being here.
All right. So, who I am and what I do. I'm a legacy specialist and I'm a financial educator. I love what I do because I'm able to help serve families and businesses in eliminating all the risk factors, the fees, and some of the taxes. And I like to do this and see where they're saving, and we find a better vehicle to park their money. We're also helping to rescue people that already have savings and retirements in place that we can actually help show them how to place it maybe a little bit better, or if it's great, then we leave it alone. And I always like to say that one of the biggest fears is not necessarily it's public speaking, it's death. People would think that that's the number one fear, right? It's actually not. A lot of people right now are fearing their retirement, if they're going to have enough money during retirement to survive. And, this was actually a quote by Allianz Life, and 64% of Americans right now are saying that one of their biggest worries right now is running out of money during retirement.
What an awful fear, because that we want to be able to maintain our lifestyle. We want to be able to take care of ourselves because, medically, who knows what's going to happen? And we don't know what our timestamp is. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I want to be able
Yeah.
to do all the things ongoing until until that day comes, right? So to be
Yeah,
able
correct.
to have someone that we can ask these questions of and to be able to understand, what do I need to do, because we don't all know what we don't even know, so asking the right
Yes.
questions and getting good education so that we can make wise choices. Oh, I love what you do and that you're able to make that difference for people.
I do too as well. I love being able to serve the community because I came from a backdrop where my grandmother serviced me a lot and she helped me out as a lot as a kid. And I thought she was my rock star. And when she passed away, we found out she had long ran out of retirement because that was my grandma and grandpa's retirement plan was living off of stocks. And she ended up living off of Social Security. And when she passed away, that didn't even cover the funeral costs. So for me, that was important. And I just saw friend after friend and member after family member go through the same struggle. And there had to be something better out there to help people in getting their financial freedoms in place.
And I love that, actually, because that you've got reason for why you're doing what you're doing. You've seen it, you've lived it, and you know that there's a better way. And
Yes. Yes, most definitely. Life has gotten better since I've joined this group and since I've gotten the education myself. And I want to make sure that all the rest of America gets it too, because the vast knowledge of America is not getting the education that they need on financial education. That's become one of my goals. I want to get back into the schools, whether it be elementary schools, middle. I want to be able to encompass all of the schools and make sure that we start them out from the gate. We have children that will come on during our conventions and conferences, and they'll start talking about the rule of 72, and they'll start talking about all the things that we now know about. And this to me fires me up because this is what education looks like. Finance should not be a taboo topic. Finance and savings and wealth retirement should not be something that people fear talking about. It should be more talked about in schools than some of the other stupid things that they're talking about in school.
well, I know you mentioned Rule of 72. I would bet there's somebody listening to us who's not heard of that yet. You want to share a little bit of what that means?
So the rule of 72 was created by Einstein, and he said if you take the number 72 and you divide it by the rate of return, that will actually equal the amount of the years that it takes your money to double. So when you're looking at different accounts, whether it be a tax now, a tax later, or a tax deferred, or tax never, this will also equate to what percentages you're getting and the amount of ratio you're going to be getting back. As you have the smaller ratios, it's going to take a lot more years to get it back. So if you have like 1%, you're looking at 72 years for your money to double. So if you were to put 10% in today or $10,000, you'd have $20,000 in 72 years. That's not even keeping up with the ratio and the inflation in today's market. Now, if you hit 10 to 12%, you're hitting maybe 7 to 8 years approximately. And you could be looking at over $600,000. That would be a huge difference in somebody's retirement. This would be a
Massive.
huge space so that you can actually have that money to beat the rate of inflation because it will be winning the inflation game.
I love that, because yeah, knowing the rules of the game makes all the difference, because then you can play's not the right word, but you can make the most of what's happening if you understand how it works. So that's where your
Yes, you can
education
become the player
component,
in the game.
yeah. And I know there's a big misconception about saving money. You want to touch on that a little bit too?
Yeah, so one of the biggest misconceptions is there's a restriction. Most people think that savings means cutting back and shrinking and depriving themselves. Actually, you're not depriving yourself. Actually, when you are getting into the saving, the truth is it's actually empowering because as you learn how to save, it will actually direct your savings and money to a purpose that you're wanting. Maybe a goal, maybe a car, maybe a house, whatever the case may be for you, it's not supposed to be a prison. So you want to make it fun. You want to make sure that it's directed into the right spaces and right places. And, it shifts how we react to life. So instead of reacting, we'll actually be able to design our own life. We'll actually be able to direct the story in our life, just like a movie, right? We want to be able to direct it. We don't ever want somebody else to direct it for us. And then thirdly, we want to turn the money into something that we chase instead of us chasing it for the rest of our life. And that's huge. We want to be able to know that when we're sleeping, that money is making money. There's some peace of mind. We're secure. We're safe. We know we're good.
Excellent. Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, and a couple quick questions then. If people have more questions and they want to reach out to you directly, is there an easy way for them to do that?
Yeah, I sent you the Popple card. I wasn't sure how to get that on there, so I sent you the Popple card. That will give a couple of different spaces in which I am. For anybody that wants to reach out to me on a one-on-one, if they're on LinkedIn or if they're on Facebook, I have my own Facebook business account. They can reach out to me there. Let me know where they're connecting in from, and I'll be more than happy to connect back.
Excellent. Well, and any final thoughts, any last bits that you would like to share before we, because I know we actually still have more folks to join us here as well. So,
Yes.
But last thoughts.
Yeah, so last thoughts, for anybody who's just getting started, make make a 1 week goal to save $50, be a roundup rebel, round up every purchase to the closest dollar, and whatever you have left in that dollar, put it in the piggy. Let's see if you can get up to $50. Let's make this fun for our kids. Let's make it a no spend ninja, because you know how kids want to go to the grocery store and always spend the money. So you know what, son, daughter, we love you. But if you don't want to get that toy, we'll go ahead and put it into an account for you, and we'll start building an account for you. So we can make it fun for our kids as well, just to get the savings started, just to create a habit.
Oh, that
That
whole
would be
idea.
the final thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole idea of the habit and forming good habits around money and knowing what a difference it can make, and that whole concept of the rule of 72 and how that can make the long-term difference. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing the insights here with us. And I can't thank you enough for what you do on the educational side and making a real difference for those around you. So, Melissa, this has been a lovely. Thank you very, very much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much, Sue, for having me, and praise for what you're doing, getting it all out there to help all the communities and helping with the disabilities and making sure that everybody's included. That's so important, and everybody needs to be heard. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Melissa. Oh my goodness. And in the back, I still have my amazing co-host here joining us as well. Michael Martin Hummel is in the house. He is, you should know by now, he's a writer, speaker, and podcaster who works hard to bridge that gap between disabled and able-bodied people. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Always good to see you. Wondering if you have any updates or any notes you want to share right away with us tonight?
My Our next show is going to be on the 28th, I believe. I have at least 10 people. I do as you know, I do a speaking engagement of 10 to 20 people every month for different disabilities and themes and things. This theme is invisible disabilities. So I'm looking forward to that.
Invisible disabilities. That is going to speak to so many people.
Yes.
Because we don't even, look around as you're out shopping.
Yeah.
There are so many invisible disabilities around us that people are dealing with that we have no idea what's going on with them. And,
Yeah.
and that's going to be a big topic. I'm so glad you chose to do that.
Yeah. Me too. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, and
I
we
do
do
have a
have.
question for.
Oh, yes, please.
I have one question for Melissa. When it comes to the stigma around savings, what would you say to people that judge other people who don't know how to save and don't even think about what might happen in the future.
Well, I think as we get closer to the younger generation, unfortunately, they think they're not going to die. Unfortunately, it's inevitable. We're all going to die. We just don't know what that time is. So I think the stigma around not saving is, you know, they're either going to start saving and they're going to have that emergency where something comes up and they learn that valuable lesson when they don't have it and there's nobody to catch them and when they fall, or they're going to learn from somebody like us where it's kind of eye-opening and they figure out that saving that 10% might help get them that nice car that they want. And especially with the younger kids, they want the sports cars, so they want that. Those aren't cheap. So I think maybe if we make it a little bit fun for our younger people and the younger generation, maybe we can take the stigma out and let's start talking about it with our kids. Let's start talking about it with our friends. Let's not make education on finance a big deal anymore. I mean, they talk more about sex education and everything else in school. To me, I could teach my kid about sex ed. Let's teach our kids about financial literacy because that's where the true value is. And that's why nobody's talking about it, because it's been a hidden treasure. It is truly one of the ninth wonders of the universe, which is financial literacy, which we're trying to bring back to the States.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, I do have one more friend I want to get in the room here to join this conversation. Deby Miller, one of my great Midwest gal friends here that, gosh, I'm trying to think how long we've known each other now at this point. It's been quite a while. I am so happy to have you here. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, I would love that.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, I think it's been maybe 5 or 6 years since we first met each other, and it's been a great time getting to know each other. So I'm Deby Miller with Legal Shield and ID Shield. So I love helping those families near all over North America actually have access to law firms without the high hourly costs. All of our families and our small businesses need to know that there's somebody that they can get good advice from in for their life, whatever that life might include, whether it's something simple, something you don't even realize is a legal issue. It's great to be able to have somebody wise that you can actually just bounce and questions off of, get some good advice from somebody else, kind of looking in from outside is a great way to help it. And of course, with them knowing the laws of the land in your area, it's going to give you a lot better advice than sadly as moms have advice, but it's not always going to be that beneficial, at least in the legal area. So I'm glad to be here to help just let people know that we're here. We just were informed that we're the best prepaid legal service in the country, or for like the last 4 or 5 years, something like that. So not necessary to be storing up those big dollars, Melissa, in a bank account for when you need an attorney. Just have your monthly subscription for $38 or a business plan maybe for $50 or a little more, but whatever, small amounts, and do it monthly and be able to talk to those attorneys for a small business or a family. It's a lot better, a much wiser decision. So thanks, Sue, for having me here. I love being here, part of the TDC community, and being here to support all kinds of people here in our country.
Awesome. Yeah, and really, what a community. This group we've had here tonight, I hear the passion, I hear the education, I hear the desire to help others, and that outreach and that outpouring makes all the difference. And we do have one more guy joining us. I'm going to have him come on in, because speaking of a guy who cares about what's going on in our community, Kurt Roskopf. How you doing, Kurt?
Doing good, doing good. I'm just gonna go ahead and popple on in here. I do want to interrupt earlier with my audio visual work, but I got popple on here because you heard Melissa said you can go ahead and scan that popple code and have a way to contact her. So that's what this is all about. We treat this as a networking opportunity. We here at the Disability Channel are all about the resources and information. This is your edutainment right here through the TDC Today community show. And I can report to you that earlier today I was on a veteran philanthropy session with the No More 9 to 5 Club. And I volunteered myself to help with a racial equity movement. I learned a little bit about Haiti today. I I realize now today because a gentleman taught this to me that Haiti was the first success, that led into the success of racial equity for the USA and so forth. So, what a story! I'm guessing I must have been taught that at some point in time because when he started to describe all the points about the Louisiana Purchase and stuff like that. I know I learned that back in the day, but I sure didn't hang on to the role Haiti played. So what a deal. So we have our friend Sorel Catan that also is involved with the Haitian Chamber of Commerce and such. So we did a little networking there. But I shared the story that led us here to the Disability Channel. When I say us, I mean Sue and me, and so basically the work that with our daughter and now dog. You got wife, daughter, and dog going on here at Roskopf Manor, and but it was through water skiing. We realized that we could help the access to the sport of water skiing, and that put us on a 6-year journey that, much to our pleasant surprise, with Wisconsin Water Ski Federation, we had a lot of fun that amassed to over sextupling the access to the sport of water skiing in 6 years. So this gentleman I'm going to be working on with racial justice, racial equity, looking at how DEI is getting squashed and all of the things. I explained to him that the disability community taught me about intersectionality. The idea of if you're a woman of color, that's a thing. And then if you're in the LGBTQ community, that's a thing. Then if you're a woman who's in the LGBTQ plus community, a woman of color, and you have a disability, all the things of our culture, custom, and genetic memory comes into play to really ascertain and take a self-examination like I was able to take 15 years ago to a dozen years ago, entered in thanks to the masters of ability. Masters of ability, ergo, are people with disabilities. Because my testimony is that I learned more from people with disabilities in 10 years than I amass from those that I have no way to know. A lot of the people I hung out with, not aware of any disability that they would have. So if I say I learned 40 years worth through primarily people that don't have a disability in 40 years, and then I signed up for the Ability Academy, Ability University, and wow, I learned so much more about the human capacity through the disability community that now my commercial is with Disney World, Epcot, Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Epcot, EPCOT. A lot of people don't know that, but that's a very instrumental piece of knowledge that I have because that's what I'm running here, folks. I get together with Melissa and Michael and Miller here. I do it for the alliteration. Melissa, Michael, and Miller. That's what today's show is, and so we had Missy on here earlier, so we have the Eminem and Eminem show, and so we're having a lot of fun with alliteration, but that's why we're here at television. We're here at television because we're getting out this experimental prototype community of tomorrow about, hey, what about inclusion, accessibility, accommodation? What about, you know, there's the finance side of it for people with disabilities, the ABLE accounts, and the special needs trusts, and all the things. There's so many things that I learned that you never realized how in the US of A, as great as the Americans with Disabilities Act is, our Congress, our US Congress still has not created a way. And yes, if you are a congressional leader, I'm speaking to you. We here in the USA have not created a way that we have equity in our country for Americans with disabilities. Though the able accounts and the special needs trusts, great stepping stones, for where we need to go. But we've lost our luster. We are lacking luster in what we're doing with our Americans with disabilities. So that's what I wake up to do every day. Pleased, proud, and privileged to be with the Disability Channel to put this in the right direction. We're proud to be partnered with On the Mark TV, Easy Way TV, Nonprofit TV, and so on and so forth, IVOD TV. We got about a dozen different partners directly and indirectly, 220 networks in television. We are talking about that we are reporting reaches of over 800 million in reach. So it seems like we just did a little show, had a nice conversation. But mark my words, the five of us right here, we represent what you need to do in conversation to share your resources, share your knowledge commons, and together, everyone achieves miracles. Back to you, Sue. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, this, again, TDC Today Show communities, because this is an amazing community, and I'm always amazed at how things end up coming together, and we have these common threads amongst the community we've gathered here tonight. And I really truly appreciate what you each bring to the table, all of the knowledge, the education components here, the care for one another. So and I'm seeing we're popping up excellent, how to reach out to Deby here as well. And while that's up, Deby, I'm just going to ask you if you had any final thoughts you'd like to share.
Thanks, Kurt. Just that there's so much that we all can learn. And right here, we have a lot of people that are willing to teach us a lot of things, share with us their knowledge of a lot of different areas of life. So it's a great great community to be a part of. So thank you, Sue and Kurt, for sharing this.
Excellent. Thank you, Deby. And Michael, I'm going to pass it to you for a final word.
Well, it was good to meet you. I've talked to Deby before, but it's nice to talk to you and nice to meet Melissa. And I just like talking about money because my perspective or my thought always goes to the negative. So I want to empower that and build that up and change that direction. So I thank you.
Excellent.
So welcome. Hopefully, we can talk about it. We'll change your mindset on it. There's a lot of scriptural thoughts that actually talk about money in a positive way. So I can send you some scriptures on that if you want that as well.
And I think it's part of it is how you grow up and what the people around you are, what their view on money is. That sculpts what you think.
Yeah, it comes from the stigma of, sometimes I hear, oh, well, these rich people have this, and, how can they have this? They don't. So yeah, it's a stigma. It really depends on how you grow up. But I found, and what I've been learning is some of my mindset around money was also not correct. And now that I've learned the right course and how to do it, it's fabulous, and my mindset has shifted 100%.
Good.
Again, what an amazing community we have here. The care and the thoughts, and oh my gosh, I am grateful for all of the things that have been shared here tonight. My name again is Sue Roskopf, and for all of us here with the TDC Today Show communities, as always, we thank you.